It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. Excuse me. On this, the 28th day of May. About to shoot another one in the foot. Hot Air Tom, since you're the first one in the chat room over there, is my audio coming through? Could you tell me a yes or a no? I would appreciate it if you could answer that. Or if somebody could, am I being heard or not? Because I am not showing audio. Loud and clear. Okay. I had a feeling that was a light burnout on my end of things. All right. So thank you, Tom. Anyway, back to what we're doing here this morning. I've got a whole bunch of stuff today. We've got a number of news stories. We're going to talk about Nate. Quite a bit about Nate. We got some stuff from Jamin that he sent over from St. Louis. We're going to do that today. We're making some changes on the channel, changes in the procedures. Nothing that's going to affect you guys at all. It's all internal stuff from my side. So, today's headlines, the stories that we've got today, the lead story this morning is Canadian arrested on a cruise ship for a multi-million-dollar fraud case. Also today, MSC to offer sports betting. Sailor meets Rover on Icon. MSC deploys ship to the Southern Caribbean year-round. Carnival Conquest Drydock rescheduled. Disney to deploy full-time in Galveston. Sea trials finished in record time. Carnival employee pleads guilty. MSC F1 partnership is redone. And Magnifica to get Yacht Club. That and lots more live here at 11 o'clock this morning. All right, so a number of stories. Today, by the way, folks, is National Hamburger Day. Yeah, it's a good day for me. I love my burgers. I like hamburgers. I like chicken burgers almost as well as hamburgers now. Amanda does chicken burgers. Yeah, she kind of rotates back and forth. It's ground chicken made like a burger, made just like a burger. To me, they're just as good. I'm not real big on veggie burgers, but I kind of like the chicken burgers. This day in history, folks, in 1934, Olivia Dion delivers the first documented set of quintuplets that survived. Born 2 months premature in Colander, Ontario, Canada, the 5 girls lived to adulthood. So congratulations on their lives. Of course, they're all gone now, but still, that was a big thing back in the day. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. All right, so let's get on with the business today. Those of you that watched the show on Monday, I know that I had Nate scheduled to come on for a live interview. Well, Nate was in Alaska at the time and was 4 hours behind us, and he overslept, and he did not hear the alarm go off. So he didn't get up until about an hour after the show. Of course, I gave him hell for that, but that's neither here nor there. And then he started in on a whirlwind bit of traveling that's unbelievable with leading up to what we were going to announce. So he has given me the okay to go ahead and talk about it any way that I so desire. So the biggest thing to say is he's no longer in Alaska. Tonight at 7 p.m., he will be boarding a plane in New York. And for 17 hours, he's going to be flying from New York to Auckland, New Zealand. 17 hours nonstop. He will see the sunrise twice while he's on the plane. And if you notice that at the little top there, the date on the 31st, that's what's that? Saturday, Friday, hey, whatever day the 31st is. I didn't even look. He's going to be getting on the Crown Princess for a round the world cruise. Well, he's going on a half round the world. He's doing 60 days. 60 days on the Crown Princess, still covering quite a bit of ground. He's going to be sailing from Auckland. There'll be stops in Sydney, Adelaide, and Perth in Australia as they sail around Australia. For then, they got a bunch of days at sea. He'll be going over to the coast of Africa, where he'll go to Port Louis, Mauritius. Then to Cape Town, South Africa. They'll do an overnight there. Walvis Bay, Namibia. Then out to Cape Verde, Mindelo, Cape Verde. Come into the Canary Islands at La Palma, Casablanca and Morocco, Gibraltar, Valencia, Barcelona, Mallorca, Cartagena, all in Spain, then to Tangiers in Morocco again, Cadiz in Spain, Lisbon in Portugal, then back to Spain to Bilbao, Bordeaux in France, Cork in Ireland, Glasgow in Scotland, Liverpool in England, and end up on July the 30th in Dover, England. So that's going to be 60 days on the Crown Princess. Now, here's the kind of the neat part of it as far as we're concerned. He's going to be doing some work for Princess, vlogging and blogging about the cruise. And they have given the approval of me being able to use anything Nate does, which could be on this show. It could be on my blog. It could be straight up video production using his content. It could be any number of things, so that we will be sharing in this world cruise, or a partial world cruise, technically speaking. There is a back half of this cruise, which is another 59 days. He's not on that part. So that was Nate's what we were going to talk about on Monday, had he not slept through the show. So I think it's awesome. Nate's always wanted to do this, as have I. Nate and I, neither one have been in a position we could afford doing something like that. I'm still not. Nate got a good deal from Princess to do some work for them. And he literally, in less than a week, has done packed closed up everything in Alaska because he's going to be gone for a couple months. It's done all the paperwork, the visas, everything that has to be done when you're going to that many countries, a bunch of stuff for Princess. So, and he's literally on his way. He had to go to the passport office in Buffalo yesterday. So that was for some paperwork that he could only get there and still fit the air together. He stayed at Niagara Falls last night, and then is going down to New York, jumping on a plane at 7 o'clock this evening, and will be off on this 17-hour flight. I hope he takes the flight better than I would. I could not take that. But anyway, I'm glad Nate's going to get to do it. I'm glad we're going to be able to share with it. So that was our news from Nate. All right. So the other thing, our friend Jamin was in, it was previously announced. I said, I used the wrong word when I taped it this morning. I didn't catch it until after the fact. But we previously had mentioned that Jamin was going to St. Louis for the weekend. So he did, and he sent me some stuff. Jamin Watson and his family spent the weekend in St. Louis, as was repeatedly reported. And Jamin said that there was a ton of things to do, especially for the kids. His daughter loved the zoo, the Science Center, Six Flags, and the City Museum. They tried the St. Louis-style pizza, which has a cracker-thin crust, uses provolone cheese instead of mozzarella. The pizza was uniquely tasty, and they enjoyed the crispness of the crust. They also tried the toasted ravioli and the gooey butter cake. Both were better than Jamin expected. The gooey butter cake almost had the consistency of bread pudding. Reminded him a little bit of vanilla pudding. Although this wasn't a cruise vacation, they did take an hour-long boat ride on the Mississippi. Jamin reported it was a wonderful trip, and he was sad to have to get back to work today in Charlotte. Add to stage. There I am. I lost myself. Okay. I'm going to screw things up. All right, guys. We'll be back with a whole bunch of news stories after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, let's get started with today's top story. Greek authorities have arrested a 72-year-old Canadian woman aboard a cruise ship docked in Rhodes, acting on an Interpol red notice related to a decades-old financial scandal in India. The arrest, carried out on May 24th, was executed after the ship arrived at the port of Rhodes. The woman, who holds Canadian citizenship but is originally from India, was wanted in connection with a fraud case tied to a Mumbai-based export firm. According to Indian authorities, the woman once served as executive director of the export company implicated in a complex web of fictitious trade transactions, forgery, and embezzlement. The alleged crimes, which spanned from 1992 to 1998, reportedly involved defrauding a consortium of banks out of 440 million Indian rupees, an amount equivalent to approximately 4.9 million euros or 5.5 million American dollars. Interpol issued a red notice at the request of the Indian government officials, which triggered the arrest in Greece. The prosecutor's office authorized the provisional arrest, according to the Greek police. Following her arrest, the woman was taken to the Subdirectorate of Criminal Investigation and Prosecution in Rhodes. While the charges are serious, including fraud, forgery, and participation in a criminal organization, the Greek court granted her provisional release under strict conditions. The restrictions will remain in effect as Greece evaluates Indians' formal extradition request. According to Interpol warrant issued by the Bombay High Court, the woman faces multiple charges, which include embezzlement of funds from a banking consortium, forgery and falsification of accounts, criminal breach of trust, use of fraudulent export documentation, and organized financial crime. Indian investigators allege that the export company she led submitted fake invoices for non-existent shipments in order to secure high bank loans, causing significant losses to the financial institutions involved. MSC Cruises has announced a new partnership with gaming technology provider Playtech to bring retail sports betting to select cruise ships. This new option will be available for guests sailing in international waters. The agreement begins with a trial in 2025. During this time, sports betting will be available on 8 MSC ships, covering 284 voyages. If the trial is successful, MSC Cruises plans to roll out the offering across its entire fleet of 23 vessels. This new service means that passengers will be able to place bets on the initial 8 vessels, which have not yet been named. This type of betting has not been offered by MSC before. I'm not entirely sure that sports betting's been offered by any cruise line. None of them that I've ever been on. And I always wondered why not. I mean, it's a casino. Why couldn't they have a sports book? I mean, when there's stuff like Super Bowls and, big NFL games and stuff, that would get action on cruise ships, at least some action. Anyway, this is only going to be usable when it's in international waters. I understand that part of it, so you don't get into taxation laws. But still, I'm surprised that that's kind of new to our world. Cruise around the world with the Will Model C2. That's the chair that I use. Our chairs will easily fit through accessible cabin doors and can navigate those tight spaces and crowded places. To see if Will may be right for you, click on the link below to schedule a test drive. Just tell them to use code Chillie for all your mobility needs. That's Scoop. Sailor finally met Rover on Icon of the Seas while both dogs were in Miami. This was the official start of Sailor's training as Chief Dog Officer. While Rover is undoubtedly the top dog aboard Icon of the Seas, Sailor stole a bit of the hearts as she met her big sister and started to learn about shift life alongside the cruise line's president and CEO, Michael Bailey. As MSC Cruises works to offer more North American cruise offerings for its fleet, the cruise line has announced it will deploy one vessel year-round in the Southern Caribbean, beginning with the winter 2026-2027 season. This will be the first time ever that the cruise line has kept a ship in the region for the summer, and the first time MSC Cruises will have 2 ships sailing in the Southern Caribbean during the winter. MSC Opera will begin its sailings from La Romana, Dominican Republic, on November 16, 2026, offering a series of 7-night cruises to lesser frequented ports. Passengers will also have the option to combine sailings into a 14-night butterfly itinerary that visits different ports each week. In April 2027, the ship will add Fort de France, Martinique, as a second embarkation port. The new deployment provides expanded access to Southern Caribbean destinations and will include calls in Aruba, Barbados, Bonaire, Curacao, Grenada, Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, and the British Virgin Islands. MSC Opera, accommodating up to 2,150 passengers, will be joined in the region by the 6,592 guest MSC Seaview, which will continue offering its own 7-night itineraries from Fort de France during the same winter season. Just weeks after Carnival Magic's upcoming Drydock was rescheduled, with some cruises canceled and new cruises added, another Carnival cruise ship, Carnival Conquest, is undergoing similar scheduling changes. Guest book on 7 upcoming sailings aboard Carnival Conquest have now been notified that their cruises are canceled due to the Drydock change. The impacted voyages are the ship's January 5th, 2026 departure through and including the January 26th, 2026 departure. The canceled cruises were both 3- and 4-night Bahamas itineraries. Carnival Conquest is homeported from Miami and offers these short getaways year-round with visits to Princess Key, Half Moon Key, and for those early in 2026 cruises, the soon-to-open Celebration Key. Booking schedules show a gap in Carnival Conquest scheduling from mid-August through the end of September 2025, which is likely where the original Drydock was planned. A similar situation arose with Carnival Magic and Carnival Horizon in recent weeks when their planned Drydocks were also rescheduled. Those of you that follow me know that I am scheduled on the Conquest in October 20th actually, which was supposed to be post-Drydock. Now I'm going to be on the ship pre-Drydock. So, yeah, maybe I can find out what they're planning for the Drydock when I'm sailing on the Conquest. The Port of Galveston has enjoyed the seasonal presence of a Disney Cruise Line ship for more than a decade, but will soon welcome one of the line's ships on a year-round basis. Currently, the 2,700-guest Disney Magic homeports at Galveston from November to April, sailing Western Caribbean cruises from the popular and growing Gulf Coast port. The news was revealed during a joint meeting of the City Council and the Galveston Wharves Board of Trustees on May 21st. Both Disney Magic and Disney Wonder are the cruise line's smallest ship. The statement from Galveston Wharves indicates that a larger ship, such as Disney Wish, Disney Dream, or Disney Fantasy, perhaps, will be deployed on the year-round sailings. All 3 accommodate 4,000 guests. Any of those ships would put the line's capacity at Galveston closer to that of competitor lines such as Carnival and Royal Caribbean, both which homeport larger ships at the Texas facility on a year-round basis. The Port of Galveston is the 4th busiest cruise port in the U.S. And welcomed more than 3.4 million cruise arrivals in 2024. The facility is growing at a faster pace, and in November 2025 will open Cruise Terminal 16, which will be its 4th. The new $156 million terminal is being built at Pier 16, a 160,000 square foot space that formerly held cargo operations. The terminal will include a 7-story parking garage and serve as the new home port for MSC Cruises' MSC Seascape. Meyer Turku, the shipbuilder responsible for Star of the Seas, has announced that she has successfully completed her sea trials and is ready for the final phase of construction work. She completed her sea trials in record time and returned to the shipyard on the morning of May 27th, the shipyard confirmed. Star spent a total of 8 days at sea, during which all systems were thoroughly tested and all tests were completed successfully. MSC Cruises has announced the MSC Magnifica will get its yacht club concept later this year as part of a significant onboard enhancement that will also see the introduction of a new spa and a gym. What the company called a substantial Drydock refurbishment will take place during October and November at the Palumbo shipyard in Valletta, Malta, to transform some of the vessel's public areas. Sales open today for the MSC Yacht Club on the MSC Magnifica starting from the summer of 2026. That for the first time includes the luxury product being available on itineraries from Warnemünde in Germany to Baltic and Scandinavian destinations, plus the MSC Magnifica 2027 World Cruise. A crew member employed on Carnival Valor pleaded guilty to possession of child sexual abuse material in a federal district court last week. Reza Herder Pratama, a citizen of Indonesia, was arrested in July of last year when the Carnival Valor docked in New Orleans following a cruise to Mexico. Carnival instructed Pratama to exit the cruise ship after terminating him due to sexual harassment complaints filed by coworkers. While at the Arado Street Cruise Terminal, Customs and Border Protection officers discovered videos that appeared to be child sexual abuse materials on Pratama's phone and revealed that Pratama used Telegram instant messaging service to receive child pornography from his acquaintances. 116 videos and 54 images were on his devices depicting the sexual exploitation of minor as revealed in a public filing by the prosecution. Pratama waived his Miranda rights and admitted that he received the stored child pornography on his devices and showed the arresting officers his Telegram groups where he shared the pornography. Law enforcement investigations like this were where they learn how child pornography shared using Telegram and WhatsApp have undoubtedly led to the arrest of numerous perverts on cruise ships. Pratama now faces sentencing in September for his crimes. He faces up to 20 years in prison, a fine up to $250,000, and supervised release, which could extend to a lifetime. Be interesting if how much good he gets out of the cooperation. All right, here's today's cruise special from Alaska Travel Desk and Chillie's Cruises. This is the MSC Grandiosa that we've talked about this morning, sailing from Port Canaveral on December the 6th, 2025. Stops at Nassau, Ocean Key, Puerto Plata, and back to Port Canaveral. Inside cabins start at $469 per person. Solo cabins start at $664. If you'd like more information on the MSC Grandiosa cruise from Port Canaveral, call Alaska Travel Desk at 907-531-9140 or Chillie Cruises at 434-258-9264. MSC Grandiosa, sailing from Port Canaveral on December 6th. All right, that puts an puts an end to the news portion of today's show. I got a couple other things that I need to touch on, more personal in nature. I had too much in the front part of the show to mess with it then. We had another little blip on the radar over the weekend. I didn't talk about it Monday because I was thrown off base by Nate. But we found out over the weekend my pool house has to come down. So we're still waiting to hear back from the pool doctor on if they will come and move the pump and the electrical and all that business to a new building that we're going to put up. I'm actually going to use my barn from the funnel cake business, and we're just going to move it, hopefully, move it over where the pool house is currently located. So we'll see on how that goes. But then we've got the pump inside. Obviously, it's got all the pipes and stuff that run into the pool, and the electrical to run that, and it's got to be completely off in the winter. But yet we still have to be able to turn it on in case we get an overwhelming abundance of snow or something that would flood, or lots of rain that would flood. So we've got to be able to restart up the pump to eliminate water if that's necessary. So there's a lot of questions that the pool doctor's got to answer before we can actually do that. So that's going to be happening before we can even get the pool open. So the pool's not open yet, and it's not going to be open for a while till we get this done, because my guy Stanley, that takes care of all the work that I used to do for us now, he tried to make some repairs to that building, and I mean, it was just crumbling in his hands. So it's time. The building itself, that used to be the old milk house when my grandparents milked cows. So it is somewhere in the vicinity of 80 years old, the building itself. It had been up and was the milk house, the earliest thing I remember coming down here to visit. And it wasn't new then. So anyway, that's going to happen. Let's see, a doctor's appointment tomorrow afternoon. Obviously not going to interfere with the show, which is good. But I go to the oncologist. I don't remember if this is just a visit or if this is the Lupron injection. I never can keep track of what's what. I get a shot twice a year. It's not a shot that's I don't talk about it much because it's in my butt, and I might get embarrassed. Yeah, right. So anyway, so I go to the oncologist tomorrow afternoon. And then the next one, I think, is when I go to the pulmonologist, and that's gonna start a realm of things going. The other thing, I'm not sure. I take the heart monitor off, comes off tomorrow, and gets mailed in with my little notebook. So I'm sure the heart dude will have something to say about that when he gets the results back. Whether that'll be me coming in for another visit, especially if they have to do anything, I guess it will, but who knows? I'll just sit back and wait until I hear from them. I got nothing scheduled till October, so I got plenty of time to take care of the medical stuff. Jason and Katie will be here next weekend. They were coming over to swim. Sorry about that. Of course, I had to tell them the pool wasn't going to be open. So it'll be have a good visit from them. Jason and I'm sure will find our way into a bottle of Elijah Craig. So that's always fun. And we'll maybe go out to dinner, all kinds of things that we normally do. All right, so that's what's coming up for me. Let's go over and see who's in the chat room. And I know hot air. Oh, Mary Williams says, can we have a chat? Yeah, well, this is the chat room for the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast, Mary. Hot Air Tom says, happy Wednesday. Hot Air Tom said I was loud and clear. Just no intro today. I played an intro. Viv is with us. Hi, Viv. I hear you. Thank you very much, Viv. Nate fell asleep on us and missed his alarm. Yeah, that's pretty close. Viv says hi to Hot Air Tom. There's Steve out in Kentucky. Good morning, Steve. Bob's with us. I had enough rain for a while. How rude of Nate not to invite his Alaska travel colleague to cruise with him. Well, yeah, well, his Alaska travel colleague doesn't have the money to do a around the world cruise. I mean, those things still cost a lot of money, Hot Air Tom, in case you haven't priced it lately. Amy's with us, says howdy everybody. There's Gretchen out in Ohio. Hi, Gretchen. Anybody see the fire in the Hilton Midtown yesterday? Glad we're staying at the Marriott Marquis. Princess gave us the choice. I did not see that, actually, Gretchen. I will do some checking on it. Todd is with us. Good morning, Todd. Gretchen says, I look forward to your virtual world cruise with Nate. Yeah, that makes it sound pretty good. It's going to be fun to see what all we can do and what we can develop on the fly as we do this. And anything that, we might be able to bring to Nate. He's, starting a blog, I think, blog or vlog, one or the other or both. So I'm sure you'll have a chance to subscribe to that if you'd like. We'll see how things go. If one thing is just let's get him to New Zealand safe and sound and on the boat. How's that? Joanne says, howdy, everybody. Well, there's Jamin. Good morning, Jamin. Thank you for your pictures. I'll just love your family. Your daughter's so cute. Your wife is lovely. I like it. Amy says, do you think the Conquest is going to be the ship they put in Baltimore in place of the Pride? Now, that's an interesting thought. Well, the Conquest would be about the right size for Baltimore. That one's interesting. I know the Conquest has been doing these short cruises out of Miami for several years now, and they stay pretty full. Now, will they pull Pride totally and replace it there? I don't know. But I like the thought. Clearly not a bad idea, Amy. There's Roger down in Jacksonville. Hi, Roger. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. Hey, guys, good morning. Sorry I'm late getting the store ready for Father's Day. Oh, yeah, that's right. You got another holiday coming up in a month. So Yeah, I can see that being. Yeah, it's not. What is it? June 10th, something like that. So it's only a couple weeks away. Yeah, you'd have to change the store over for sure. All right. Well, good luck with that, Kenneth. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As usual, I'll be back on Friday. And if anything happens between now and then, I'll monitor the situation. For now, guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas. For now, have a great day, everybody. I'll see everybody Friday if I don't see you before. And then we'll have, by the weekend, we're going to have something from Nate. So we might do some special broadcasts just from Nate. So we'll have to see. All right, guys. Have a great day. See you next time.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.